Good morning and welcome to my channel. I'm the General of Rome and today we are continuing my how to play Europa Universalis 4 or just tutorial series. And today we will be talking about religions. Now, the way religions works in Europa Universalis 4 is that every nation has a state religion, which means that pretty much the ruler of the nation thinks that this religion is accepted and that the whole nation should actually embrace this religion. Now, for probably most of this video we will be in the religion map mode, just so we can show all of the religions off. And also all religions have their own bonuses. Like for example, Catholic. Catholic has a certain bonuses and negatives. If your nation is Catholic, you will have tolerance to the true faith +1, which means that every province that has this religion will have -1 unrest, I think. Then again, also, if you have a province with the wrong religion, and then I have to think again, heretics, right? Heretics. Talking about heretics, yeah. This means that for Catholics, if you own provinces that have a other branch of Christianity in this province, like if I were a Catholic nation and I would have a province that is Orthodox, for example with Lithuania over here. Lithuania is a Catholic nation that has a lot of Orthodox provinces. This will mean that a lot of these provinces of Lithuania, which are all the cross-lined provinces over here, they all have +1 revolt risk, because there's -1 tolerance to heretics. Heretics are all beliefs that are bonded with the religion that you have, but aren't the same religion. If you want to check that out, it's in the religion screen, like over here. You can see what religions are considered to be heretics and which are heathens. I will talk about this stuff later in other videos. Next up is Orthodox. Orthodox is another branch of Christianity, and it has 2 bonuses. It's lowest stability cost modifier, which makes it cheaper to raise stability, and again tolerance to the true faith, giving less unrest to provinces with the right religion for your nation. Not right in that Orthodox, of course, is the right faith. No, that's not how I think. It's that for this nation, for an Orthodox nation, it's the right faith if a province is Orthodox. Now, if I were to switch to a Orthodox nation, of course I have to cheat for this. Oh, that's not the right one. I'll go to Byzantium. There we go. This is the religion screen. Now, of course, I said I was gonna talk about all of these in another video. I might still do another video talking about all of these, But if we're talking about religion, it's kind of important to talk about this screen. It's the religion screen, which can be found if you click on the on your flag over here, and then in whatever tab you are, go to the religion tab. Over here you can of course see that we're Orthodox, and again see the bonuses. Oh, there's also a negative bonus. Negative 1% local missionary strength, which is gonna make it harder for you to convert provinces with other religions. Now this button, I can't click it because Orthodox isn't allowed to click it, but certain religions, for example the Catholics, are able to do it. If you have a religion that is able to click this button, clicking this button will pop up another screen, and you will be able to choose other religions to switch to, which means that your state religion will become that religion. Now something specific for the Orthodox religion is the Patriotic Authority, which is like a line over here, and you can see it can go up from 0% to 100%, with 0% giving you no bonuses and 100% giving you extra missionary strength, minus local unrest in every single province of your nation, and a plus 33% national manpower modifier, giving you more manpower every month. Over here you can see the religious unity, which means that at this point it's 100%, which means that our whole nation is the right religion. If we were to have provinces that weren't the right religion, this wouldn't be at 100%, unless you have certain idea groups. I think it's religious idea group. You could, what might be humanist, but there are idea groups that can hire your religious unity. And having high religious unity gives you bonuses, or either I think it's low religious unity gives you penalties, making it harder to convert other stuff, I think. This is the missionary strength value, which basically means how fast and how strong are your missionaries. So will they be able to convert certain provinces? Now, if I were to have provinces that do not have the right religion, for example, if I were to certainly or just magically get all of the land from the Ottomans, if I were to do this, I of course would have a whole bunch of territory over here that is Sunni, which is a Muslim religion, or Islamitic religion, whatever you want to call it. If I now were to go to the religious screen, there would be a whole bunch of provinces over here that I could potentially convert. Now over here you have the name of the province. Here you can see what kind of religion the province is. You can see how much unity this gives you. Also, you can see that since I got all of this territory, my religious unity went down a lot, giving you again some penalties. Now over here you can see how long it takes to convert. Unfortunately for us, right now our missionaries are terrible, which means that we won't be able to convert anything. if my missionaries were better, there would be a number over here telling you the amount of months that it will take to convert a certain province. And of course you can click on this button and it tells you again some information about the conversion, and if you click OK, it starts converting and you can cancel it again here or over here. Over here we have the Defender of the Faith button, and Defender of the Faith, if you click this, you will get a certain amount of bonuses, but you will have to pay 500 gold just for one time. You have to buy the Defender of the Faith and then you have it. You will have these bonuses and the penalty for making it more difficult to tech up, having 5% more technology cost. But there's a big but about this button. If you were to become the Defender of the Faith, you will have to defend every single nation that is your religion, that has your religion as their state religion, and if this nation is attacked by another nation that doesn't have your religion. If you refuse the call to arms, you lose Defender of the Faith. If you lose any war at all, you lose Defender of the Faith. So it's there's some great bonuses over here, but it's expensive to get. Well, 500 gold in the late game, it's really cheap to get some bonuses, but in the early game this is a lot of gold. And they're great bonuses, but it could be difficult to keep them. Over here there's just some more information about your fate. This is the same stuff as over here, but as you can see, the -1 local missionary strength doesn't pop up. I think it's something that got added later in the game, like in a later patch, and that's why it doesn't pop up over here. But I'm not sure about that. Now over here you can see the tolerance. We talked about this before. This basically means that how tolerant are you to all religions? So we have insanely high tolerance to our own faith, which means that we will have pretty much no unrest in provinces that are our faith. At least no penalties for it from religion. Now on the other hand, heretics we do not accept. Although we're close to accepting it, which is why it's yellow and not red. So there is a penalty that we get for heretics, but the penalty isn't that severe. Now if you hover over here you can see what kind of heretic beliefs there are. Right now it's Catholic and Coptic, but when the Reformation happens, Protestant and Reformed will pop up over here as well. Moving on to heathens. Heathens are pretty much all other religions that aren't your own religion and aren't heretics. And usually you do not accept them at all. Your nation hates them and wants them gone. Which means that people from this religion will not like to be ruled by you and will want to rise up in a rebellion. Now let's continue with the next religion. We're moving on to Sunni. Or should we? No. Let's stay with the Christianity until we're done with it. We'll go for Coptic, which is right now on this save, on this time, the last Christian religion that we can talk about, I will probably go to a save file or something, so I can show you the other religions that haven't spawned yet. Coptic gives you turns to the true fate again, and fort defense, making your forts harder to fall in enemy hands, which means that your provinces are protected better against enemy forces. Now the Coptic Fate has got an overhaul in, I think it's Rights of Man. So if you have the DLC Rights of Man, there will be another mechanic for the Coptic Fate to get some more bonuses. I don't actually own this DLC, but I can tell you how it works. The way it works is that the Coptic Fate has a few holy cities. And I think it's one of the provinces over here that it actually already owns. I think it's Axiom. And then it's Alexandria, I think. And some other stuff up here. And if you or any other Coptic nation owns the province, and if the province also is the right religion, Coptic, you will get bonuses from that. You can choose some bonus. There's a few bonuses you can choose from. Alright, now I think we're gonna move on to the Sunni religions. Again, there's three religions that we can talk about: Sunni, Shia, and Ibadi. First up, Sunni. Now for Sunni, I will actually get to another nation. There you go. Now we're the Mamluks. The reason why I do this is that I can again show off another feature. Now this should look the same as with the Patriotic Authority for Byzantium, or the Orthodox faith. Again, these give bonuses, but unlike the Patriotic Authority having no piety, this is called, having no piety does also give bonuses. Both sides gives you bonuses, and this doesn't go from 0 to 100, this goes from plus 100 to negative 100, with negative 100 giving you national tax modifier plus 20%, national manpower modifier plus 20%, and technology costs minus 10%. While if your piety is high, it will give you plus 3 missionary strength, plus 10% morale of armies, and fort defense, plus 20%. So these ones over here are more focused on economy and technology, and the ones over here are more based on national stability and military. Again, this over here isn't that good of an interface, and it's better to hover over here because the penalty doesn't does not show up. So the profits of being Sunni is that there's a plus 100% to get a new heir, and that's the cavalry to infantry ratio is plus 10%, which means that you can have 10% more units of cavalry in a single stack of a single military, a stack of armies, which means that for example, if Western nations were to have, I don't know, they only are able to get two 2 cavalry in a stack without having penalties. The Sunnis might just be able to get 3 without having a penalty. Now again, there's a penalty for being Sunni, which is that your local missionary strength is -2%. Of course, this can go up if you get to being pious, as well as taking other religious groups or having national ideas that give you missionary strength. Next up is Shia. Shia is another Muslim religion. Oh, I forgot to talk about the heretics and stuff like that from the Sunnis. They tolerate their own religion. They don't quite tolerate the heretics, and they actually, I think they are a little bit more tolerant to heathens than that the Christians are. But there's oh no, never mind. It's just for having them for having a certain bonus. That's bonded to this this nation at this time. Moving on to Shia. Now I actually don't know the tag for Karakailu, so I'm not gonna move over there. But Shia gives you another few bonuses, which is morale of armies and chance of a new heir. I really should actually have looked up the tag so I can show you all of it, because oh, there's another thing that I forgot to talk about with the piety. Piety goes up if you declare war on a nation that isn't Muslim. So if you declare war, for example, on someone in India or someone that is that's Hindu religion, your piety will go up from that. While if you declare war on a nation that also is a Muslim nation, your piety will go down because you declared war on someone from your own faith. Pretty much your own faith. Right, moving on to Ibadi, which is a really minor religion. It's only spawned in Oman and some parts of Algeria. And Ibadi gives you the following bonuses: morale of navies plus 10% and chance of a new heir plus 100%. So Ibadi are good at naval combat. Right, moving on to Jewish. I'm not sure if I even can show you it. Ah, yeah, I can. Right? Yeah, I can. Now, Jewish has only 2 provinces on the map. And there's only one nation that can spawn to have the Jewish faith. So this is probably gonna be a religion that's gonna be wiped off the map really early. And it's really hard to play as anyone to be Jewish. But if you were somehow to become a Jewish nation, you will get the following bonuses: possible advisors +1, tolerance to the true faith +2, and you will get a -2% local missionary strength. Oh, that's also probably a good way to show you this stuff. Yeah, maybe the local missionary strength -2% doesn't show up because it's pretty much for everyone. Yeah, right. I'm not even gonna talk about the -2% then. Right. Moving on to Hindu. Oh, that's interesting. Hindu doesn't have the -2%. Hindu only gives bonuses, and it's tolerance to the true faith +1% and tolerance to heathens +1. Which means that, well, you will have less revolt risk in provinces that have religions that are close to your religion. Which I'm not sure which religions that actually are. I have to look that up at some point. Moving on to Tera Vaada. Tera Vaada is in the same religious group as Vajrayana and Mahayana. And that's also why I think that Hindu isn't in the same group. I'm pretty sure that these three are connected and Hindu is just their own group. Being Tera Vaada gives you the following bonuses. Advisor cost -10%, making advisors cost less. And tolerance of heretics +2%, which means that you will be very you will have a lot less trouble with religions that aren't anywhere close to your own religion. So if you were somehow to get a Christian province as Ava, you wouldn't have that much revolt risk. At least not compared to it being the other way around, having a Tera Vaada province as a Christian nation. Right, moving on to Mahayana. Mahayana gives you 2 bonuses, tolerance of heretics +2%, again making it less of a problem to have provinces with the wrong religion. And -5% idea costs. Of course, I don't even have to explain this, do I? Making it less expensive to get new ideas. Right, moving on to Vajrayana, I think it's called. Vajrayana gives you morale of armies +5% and tolerance of heretics +1. Now I'm not sure about the Hindu religion, but I'm pretty sure it's the same for Hindu as well as these three religions. That they have deities, which means that once in a few years I think it's every time your ruler dies, you have to pick a deity that you want to embrace. Which means that while your ruler lives, you will get certain bonuses from this deity, and when he dies you can pick another deity and get other bonuses, or just stay with the same deity. Right, moving on to Confucian. Confucian gives you tolerance of heretics +2 and administrative technology cost -10%. I do think, let me have a look if I can get this to work. If I can quickly find the tag for China. Is it just this? Nope, definitely not. Nope. Well, let's just go back to Byzantium then. Right. Yeah, we talked about those bonuses. Now Confucian, I think, got a big overhaul in the latest expansion, Mandate of Heaven, since it's heavily focused on Eastern Asia. So I think there's another overhaul for Shinto as well, which is the Japanese religion. Shinto gives you plus 10% morale of armies and the pretty much standard minus 2% local missionary strength. Right, moving on to one of the really strange religions. It's Tengri, and Tengri gives you 20% minus 20% regiment cost, making it pretty cheap to get a whole lot of units. And it also gives you plus 25% cavalry to infantry ratio, which we already talked about with the Sunnis, which makes sure that you are allowed to have a lot more cavalry in your army stacks. Now the really strange thing about Tengri is that Tengri nations are allowed to pick a syncretic fate. So a syncretic fate means that basically if you're a Tengri nation, you're allowed to set one other religion to be the syncretic fate. And this means that you will accept this religion as if it were your own, and you will not get any religious penalties from having provinces of this religion. So if I were the Ored Horde and I were to set Sunni as the syncretic fate, I would not get unrest in any of my Sunni provinces based on religious upheaval. Right, moving on to Animist, which is the it's one of the basic religions in the game that you get for natives. So it's like I will talk about Fetishists in a few seconds, but a few patches ago, all of Africa also used to be Animist. So it's basically just the generic religion for natives. Now, Animist gives you minus 1% national unrest, which of course means a little bit less unrest in all your provinces. It gives you tolerance to true fate, plus 1, making sure you accept your own fate, and plus 2% missionary strength, which is great. But unfortunately, Animist is also really easy to convert back, which means that if you were to play as an Animist nation and you were to lose a war to a nation that isn't Animist, be prepared to, if you ever reconquer your provinces, have to convert them back because because the enemy would have already converted them to their fate. Right, moving on to Fetishists, which is the main religion in most of sub-Saharan Africa. Fetishists have plus 2% tolerance to heathens. Of course, making sure that people from the same religion group will... that's heretics. People with a insanely other religion, right? Yeah, people with just a complete other religion will be accepted a little bit better. They also have plus 1 diplomatic reputation, which means that all nations will be a little bit more happy about you. And it also gives you plus 2% missionary strength, making it a little bit easier to convert other provinces. Now I might have said something wrong about this being... Yeah, I said tolerance to... When I said tolerance to heretics, what I said was tolerance towards heathens, so I'll do that over again. This means that you will accept anyone in the same religious group as yourself, which I think is only Vajrayana and Mahayana, but I wouldn't be surprised if it also includes Confucian and Hindu and Shinto. If only I were able to guess any of these tags. And I'm going to try once more for shall I try? I think it's Khmer or something. This is what I would think of that, but nope. There we go. Now I can have a look at it. Oh, they also have Karma, which is something I think got added in another expansion, but I'm not sure which one it was. Again, this is that a deity? Deities might only have been for Hindus. I'm sorry. But Karma gives you some bonuses from having good... No, don't lie. Karma is good when it's at the middle. If you have good karma, you get some penalties, and if you have bad karma, you will get penalties. And as you can see here, there's a whole bunch of stuff that increases and decreases karma. Yeah, if karma is between -25 and +25, you get bonuses. Discipline +5% and diplomatic reputation +1%. But if it's higher than 50, you will get -5% discipline, and if it's lower than 50%, you will get -1 diplomatic reputation. And now we can check. So it doesn't include the culture group, or the religion group does not include Hindu, but it does include the Confucian religion and Shinto religion. So if you are any of these religions, you will be able to accept pretty much all of this religion. Now, if only I were to have a tag for this. Oh, there we go. Yeah, there we go. So Hindus can set a deity. Like I said, all of these deities will give you certain bonuses, and I think you have to stick with this until your ruler dies. Yeah, you can't click on it again. And Hindu does not have any other religions in their group, which means that I think... Oh, they have heathens as their thing. So yeah, they will accept other people, other religions that aren't in their culture group, which means that, for example, if they would have Sunni provinces, they would accept them a little bit more. Now, Fetishists, I think, also were able to set deities. I'm pretty sure about that, actually. I will have a look if I can find the tag for it. Yeah, there we go. Easy enough. I'm a lying bastard. Alright, never mind that. You cannot set a deity as No, no, don't lie. Do not lie. I'm pretty sure you can set a deity, but only if you have the DLC called Rights of Man. Right, let's move on to Zoroastrian, which is one of these minor religions, same as Jewish. It's one of the religions that are probably gonna get wiped off the map really soon. Zoroastrian only has one province on the entire map. It was the former religion of the Persian Empire, and it gives you plus 10% trait efficiency, plus 2% tolerance to the true faith, and minus 2% missionary strength. Alright, moving on to the New World. We have, first of all, we have Totemist, which is the religion of all of North America, pretty much. And it's the religion of all the different little tribes here. If I were to click on one of these, we would see that the bonuses of being Totemist are that you get minus 1% national unrest, 1% tolerant or plus 1 tolerance to the true faith, and 2% more local missionary strength. Moving on to the different religions in Mesoamerica and the Inca. We have Nahuatl, which is the religion of the Aztecs and other nations over here in this area of Mexico. Nahuatl has these bonuses: minus 1 national unrest, plus 10% morale of armies, and plus 2% national or local missionary strength, not national missionary strength, but yeah. So yeah, some pretty good bonuses, you would say. But there's a big but about this religion, as well as the other religions here, both Maya and Mayan and Inti and Nahuatl. All three of these religions have to reform to actually become good. And they all three have different ways to reform, and you cannot reform unless you have the DLC El Dorado. Now for Maya, I'm not sure how to reform. I'm sorry for that, but I've never actually played as a Maya nation. Let's see if I can quickly find a tag for that. Yeah, there we go. That works. Yeah, so we have to click at this button. And you see that you need to have all the reforms and have a neighbor that has embraced institutions to reform. So basically what you need to do is you have to... This is something that works for all three religions, both Nahuatl, Inti and the Mayan religion. You have to reform 5 times. You have to pass a reform, and then you have to click this button. But you can only do it if you pretty much have a colonizing European nation next to you. And unfortunately, this does not tell me anything about how you reform, like how you get the points. If I were to unpause it, might start to tick up or something, but I do not think so. I'm sorry about that. Alright, move on to Nahuatl, where I do know what the way to do it is. By Nahuatl, the way to reform is to own a whole bunch of vassals. So you have to conquer a whole bunch of nations and have them as a vassal, and if you have enough vassals you can click the button, do a reform, and you will lose all your vassals, but you will have one of your 5 reforms. So you have to do that 5 times, and then you will have your reforms passed through. I forgot to have a look at the Mayan the things that you get from being Mayan. You get +1 possible advisors, +1 tolerance to a true fate, and +2% local missionary strength. Now if you're Inti, which well, I did a let's play on this not too long ago, and I'm still doing it actually. But if you're Inti, you get tolerance to a true fate +1. You get monthly autonomy change -0.05, which means that the autonomy in every single province will go down a little bit faster, which means that provinces will become more valuable a little bit faster. And the last one being +2% missionary strength, making it a little bit easier to convert provinces to your religion. Now the way that reforms work for the Inti people. That's not the. Never mind. I will just have to do this out of my head. The way that reforming as the Inti works is that you have to have authority, which you get from having a lot of provinces and stuff like that. It's also based on your monarch. I think it's based on how good your monarch is, how quickly it goes up. If you have 100 authority, you can click one of the reforms. If you click one of the reforms, you will get a civil war, which means that you will get a whole bunch of rebels in a lot of provinces and you need to deal with it. So you pretty much have to go through 5 civil wars, and then you can reform as soon as one of the Europeans is bordering you. Now, what's the bonus of reforming of any of these 3 religions? Well, it's really good to reform because if you are any of these natives, you are not allowed to embrace any institutions, which means that you're always gonna be terribly behind on technology. If you reform, however, if you can click the reform button, like not the button to click a reform, but the last button to reform the religion, which you can only do if you have all the reforms and have a neighboring European with institutions embraced. You can click this button and you will instantly embrace all of the institutions that the European colonizer also has embraced, which is insanely powerful. It's so much better than the old system, and it means that, well, pretty much your technology trouble is gone from that point onward. I'll have a quick look, but I think that's gonna be it for the regions. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I covered. No, I did not cover all of them. Do not lie. I have to cover the Protestant and oh, I can't do it because it's all incompatible with the save file. Never mind. That's terrible because I'm not able to get to a save file. Talking about Protestant and Reformed, I might talk about that actually in a later video, talking about the Reformation in general. Yeah, let's do that. I'll talk about the Reformation in another video. Alright, that's gonna have to do it. I hope you enjoyed. and that you learned something from this video. And again, I apologize for not being able to show you everything. I'm doing my best, but it wasn't thought through that well. I hope you enjoyed, and see you in one of my next videos.